start by asking, in weather like this, how do you train? Seriously.
No, absolutely. I mean, obviously, doing the best that we can to see what it looks like, also having contingency plans in place. And yeah, it's just obviously the physical guidance for the session itself being the first session back. The weather being this way is just being very clear on what that looks like. So obviously a shorter session, but a nice introduction session.
You're headed to Florida pretty soon, though, right?
Yes.
You're just
Yes.
probably trying to get to that point.
Yes. We spoke about all the preseason dates today in our team meeting, and obviously looking forward to supposed warm weather. Let's hope that stays that way. But yeah, absolutely.
What's the early impressions of the schedule obviously being announced today?
Yeah, no, we came in today and had a great team meeting. Talked about kind of the layout for the season, the goals, and yeah, we're just looking forward to getting started. We've mapped out the fact of our start date to when preseason officially ends is 52 days, including off days. So I think it gives everyone an opportunity to digest the micro topics that we'll be able to touch throughout preseason to put us in a good spot to start the season off well.
It's a different off-season for you guys, obviously,
Mhm.
more draft. It probably helped bring in Allie. What's it been like for you as a head coach, kind of seeing this roster take shape and
Yeah.
how different it's been this offseason?
Yeah, it's been really exciting. Obviously, coming in today, seeing everyone's faces, seeing obviously those that have returned, the players that we have signed, and then the invitees, and then obviously some additions to staff as well. So it's been really great to all get together in a room and have that very first meeting. And I think for us, it's just obviously what we would like to accomplish this season and continuing to build those relationships, continuing to build as quick as possible in order to accomplish what we would like this season.
How important was it for you to have someone like Allie here? Obviously a great player in and of itself, but someone that just gets what it's like to be from here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she loves the city. The city's a part of her. And when you talk about building relationships from our football club with the community, and obviously we were very impressed with the opportunity we had to follow her collegiately and obviously playing for our W League as well. So, yeah, I think she's a fantastic addition. She's a great person, and she will bring a lot to this environment, and we're very happy.
What does she bring to the pitch?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she's a very physical player. She likes to communicate. She showcased leadership in multiple levels. So, yeah, I think she's just going to bring her authentic self. And I think on top of that, she has a lot of attributes that I believe would be really successful in league. So looking forward to working with her, continuing to develop areas of her game, and specifically the back line.
You have two other new signings as well.
Yes.
But can you just briefly talk about kind of what you were looking for and how they fit that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start with Sarah Weber. I think Sarah Weber caught my eye instantly. If you jump on Y Scout and you literally just hit clips, you see someone that just embodies everything from a values perspective, that characteristics that we are looking for. She just works her butt off very consistently, and obviously within that has showcased that she can score goals. She could play multiple positions. So we were very excited to bring her on board and very excited to spend some time here early on getting to know her. And then obviously Ella, fantastic last season at Duke. A very quick, very technical lefty. And yeah, she's just been exciting to watch, follow, and obviously now to have both of them and all three of them as our new signings here at the club, it was incredibly exciting. Yeah.
What did you tell them about that early adjustment to the NWSL from college? Like, what do you jumps out as the biggest thing you got to get used to about?
Yeah, I think it's kind of shared in the sense of like our patience, their patience, with understanding that everything's just new in general, right? Outside of being in the NWSL, everything's new. It's a club. It's new expectations. It's not, it's a different coaching staff. It's different all around. So it's just being patient with the difference and also adjusting as time comes and not being afraid to ask questions to help with the adjustment process alongside their teammates and us.
So what do you see out of that back line as
Yeah.
a group? Obviously, Aaron's back. There's some experienced pieces, but there's some youth that has been here before but has not played a ton of your players like Angela and Ellie coming back with an injury as well. Just what do you see for that group?
Yeah, I think just overall, we are looking to continue to build in a very positive direction. I think the reality is, look, every preseason, everybody sits down and does the same things, which is what? They go over goals, they go over culture, they go over plans for the season. Everybody's doing the same thing right now. So what is going to make us different? How will we live by these goals? How will we live by these behaviors? How will we live by this culture? It's going to be really important across the board for every player and every staff member. And so for us, it's just getting together. It's being very clear in all of those aspects and driving the ship forward.
What was your biggest takeaways from year one as being a head coach that you're bringing in
Mhm.
something that you want to bring to your team?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think self-reflection is a massive part of everything that we do. I think I'd be silly to sit here and tell you, as a first-year head coach, I didn't have any of that, but I hope to have that, and I hope to be in this industry for a long time. But I also always hope that I'm self-reflecting in 5 years from now, 6 years from now, 3 years from now. The reality is I spent a lot of time self-reflecting, and it came down to very specifically of how I could continue to build relationships with the players and the staff to understand what are their needs and why, to understand what are their learnings, how do they like to learn, are they more long-term goal-driven, are they short-term goal-driven, these types of nuances. So a big part of the off-season was spent having the players do personality traits tests. And I broke them down into survey traits and job behaviors to understand what they're like at work and who they are essentially as a human being and what behaviors change in work, at work, and just to better understand them, to be able to connect with them. Because the reality is I want that connection to get the most out of them, because if I get the most out of the individual, I get the most out of the group.
That's interesting. Is there any like specific trait that you found to be like extra coachable or something like that?
No, it's just about, specifically I'll speak, from a staff perspective, even understanding my personality traits and a little bit of who I am was very fascinating. I'm sure my husband would be like, I knew that, because that's the first person I've thought of. I was like, wow, he's told me that before. That's funny. Just learning more about myself and the people around me. So how I function, what my personality's like, but then what's the staff look like around me? They're balancing me in other areas that maybe is not specific to my personality, but is very specific to theirs. So it goes across the board with what we're looking for and what we're looking at. And I think, it's just been fun to better understand the players. And it's just in a space of building that relationship from IDPs all the way to specific detail and how we give it, when we give it. Does somebody need more connections because they're very social versus someone who's a little bit more analytical and maybe needs a little bit more facts, a little bit more data, maybe less check-ins. And it's just trying to understand them a little bit better in that sense.
The roster
one more,
hasn't
sorry.
changed.
Yeah, go ahead.
The roster hasn't changed much. Was that the plan at the end of last season? Did you say to yourself, hey, I want this same group that I had here coming back next season, and why?
Yeah, I think for me it was just an opportunity to, like I said, a part of the reflection process is where are we at, where would we like to go, what are we looking for? And most importantly, I've mentioned this morning in the team meeting, is you could talk about X's and O's all you want, whatever people use, whatever magnets, whatever colors you'd like, but if you don't have the culture right, there's no point in diving into the X's and O's. So really setting a very good base culturally right off the get-go was the most important thing for me. And so obviously that was what we're looking to build here pretty early on, and very excited about that.
Thank you, Bev.
Yeah, of course. Thank you,
We'll let
guys.
you get out there.
Yeah.
Any